All right, so good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. We've got quite a few more people joining us, I'm sure, but we'll get started. Today, we're going to go over Microsoft Teams and the different communication tools you can use in Teams. If you saw earlier in the week, we were advertising Skype webinars. You might have already attended a Skype webinar. Due to some various reasons, with everybody working at home, Skype was not being quite as reliable as we would like, so we shifted to Microsoft Teams. I think overall Teams is a good choice. It has very robust communication features, and it also has a lot of different collaboration features, which we won't go into today. If you're coming in, please make sure to mute yourself, and you'll stay with the entire time. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So to introduce myself, my name is Alexandra Hancock. I'm an instructional technology trainer with Modesto City Schools. So my whole job is offering different trainings on different technology. You can reach me here at my email, hancock.a, with the usual at monet.k12.ca.us. I also have set up a Google Voice number for this particular instance since I'm working from home. You can go ahead and call or text that number. It'll go directly to my cell phone and I can get back to you. I will be emailing out this whole slide deck to everybody who attended after the webinar. So if you want to be included on that email list, make sure that you check the chat for the link that Mike Rich is posting to mark your attendance. I'll be sending the email out based on that attendance. This is our agenda for the next half hour or so. We're going to go over how to access Microsoft Teams, how you can send messages and share files directly with individuals, how you can set up meetings and video chat, how you can share content, for instance, how I'm sharing my PowerPoint with you. I also have a couple settings you may or may not want to change just for quality of life stuff, and then we will have a Q&A at the end. If you attended the webinar yesterday, this is the same content that Angela went over, so feel free to sit and watch if you want to learn again. If you already joined it yesterday, this is the same content. All right, so how do we access Microsoft Teams? There are two ways to access Microsoft Teams. The first way is there is a desktop app. If you have a district device that you brought home with you, or if you're working at a district site somewhere, the app is being pushed out via policy. So it may or may not be on your computer already. It kind of just depends on when your device is getting the policy and all of that. If you don't have the app, once we kind of go through the steps to check, go ahead and try and restart your device and see if that installs the app for you. If you still don't have the app and you want the app, you can call the help desk and they should be able to get the app for you. However, definitely try restarting your device beforehand. If you are on your district device and it is installed, you can open up the Start menu, or you can use the search down there to search for Teams, and you should see the Microsoft Teams app show up. Once you click on Teams, if you're on your district device, it may or may not auto sign you in. It kind of depends on various network settings. If it does ask you to sign in, you will sign in with your full district email, the complete at monet.k12.ca.us, your same district password, and then the Teams application should launch. If for whatever reason the application does not launch, sometimes it lives in the taskbar down at the bottom. Simply find the little up arrow in your taskbar along the bottom and look for the Teams icon, and you can click on that to launch the app as well. So that's one scenario where the app is installed on your district device already. However, some of you aren't going to have that. So the other option, the other option is going to be to access it through Office 365. So to access it through Office 365, you can start on our district webpage, mcs4kids.com. Go into Staff and Staff Applications, just like we're all used to doing. Look for Office 365. And once you launch that Office 365 dashboard, there will be a tile on there that says Teams. You can go ahead and click on that tile to launch the Teams application in the web interface. So to review, there are two possible ways to get to Teams: the app on your device or the web interface. Both of them are perfectly fine. You don't need to worry about one versus the other. They're both perfectly fine. Just it's a matter of preference. This question came up yesterday in the webinar. If you want Teams on your home computer, you absolutely can install it on your home computer. The easiest way to do that is to follow the steps on the previous slide to open the Office 365 version. Once you have that Office 365 version open, there's going to be a little download icon in the bottom left corner. You can click on that and just follow the steps that your device prompts you to actually install Teams. So that's how you do it at home. If you want it, again, you are perfectly fine to use the web interface. And this kind of answers the question that just came in the chat. Is there any difference between the web interface versus the app interface? So here I did a screenshot of the web interface on the left-hand side. Here is a screenshot of the app interface on the right-hand side. You can see that other than a couple icons, everything is the same. So functionality is the same on the app versus the web interface. The only difference is the app will give you pop-up notifications, and the app also works to a certain degree with some of the collaboration features if you don't have the most stable internet connection. But as you can see by looking at the left-hand side on the web interface and the left-hand side on the app interface, activity, chat, Teams, assignments, calendar, calls, files, all of those features are exactly the same. They work completely the same. The only difference is, again, how you're accessing it. So completely up to you if you want to use the app or the web interface. I personally like the app because I do like those pop-up notifications. So now that we have access to Teams, we need to know a little bit more about the communication features. So we're first going to talk about communicating with individuals, so how you can send chat messages and share files with individual users if you choose. So once you have the Teams interface open, whether you're in the app or on the web, the first thing that you're going to want to do, number one there, is you're going to want to click on the chat feature. Once you click on the chat feature, there's a little paper and pencil up at the top there at number 2, where you can compose a new message. The nice thing about Teams is it does connect to our district directory. So once you open that new window, you can go to number 3 where it says to, and you can start typing the name of anybody in the district, and it is going to find them in our district directory. So once you find the contact you want to send your message to, click on that contact name. And then there at number 4, you can type out your message to that contact and hit enter to send that to your contact. This is just the chat option, so kind of like instant messaging or anything like that. That's what this feature here will do. If you need to add more people to that chat, sometimes we need to have a chat with 2 or 3 of our coworkers. Up at the top, there is a little 2-person avatar icon with a plus that will allow you to add additional folks to this chat conversation. Once you're in a chat, you have some different options. Number 1 is rich text formatting options. So rich text essentially means doing bold, italics, underline, increasing the font size, adding bulleted lists, different things like that. You can format your text so it's not just casual chat. You can make it a lot more formal. Number 2 there is your delivery options. Everything is set to standard importance by default, but if you do have a really urgent or important message that you need to get through via Teams, you can click on that little exclamation point and you can change the urgency of the message. Essentially, that's just going to flag the message with an important indicator or an urgent indicator. They will see that in the pop-up if they're using the app, so it gets a little bit more attention to your message, kind of like marking an email as urgent. Number 3 there, you can share a file with somebody. So you just click on that little attach icon and you find the file on your computer and you send it out. You can also add emojis. Some of you are already figuring out that emoji feature in the chat in the presentation here. And at number 5 is the option to schedule a meeting, which we'll go into meeting scheduling in just a little bit, but you can schedule a meeting with your chat folks. If you are chatting, this is how you see new messages. One way to see new messages is you'll get a pop-up notification when you receive a message. Just wanted to note that that is with the app only. If you are online and getting a new message, your little Google Chrome icon will glow, and that's how you'll know you have a new message. If you have the Teams interface open, whether it's on the web or online, you will see a little, you can see there with the chat where it's highlighted in a little red number 1. That's also going to let you know that you have new messages, and that number will update with however many new messages you have. So you can see any new chats in that area as well. So you get lots of different ways to get notified about your chats. All right, so the next step is doing meetings and video calls. Chat's all well and good, but sometimes we need to sit, we need to have an actual conversation. And now that we're kind of remote from each other, that voice connection is really helpful. So how can you set up meetings and video calls with different folks throughout the district? If you just want to start an ad hoc video call with an individual, up at the top of your Teams interface, there is a search or type command bar. You can click in here and you can search for any contact in the district. Again, that ties to our district directory, so you're going to see all those contacts show up. Simply click on the person that you want to start an audio or video call with. You'll see their name pop up there, and then you can see that we've got highlighted in yellow there. The option to start a video or audio call is going to be at the end of the row that that person is in. The little camera icon would be to start a video call, and the little phone icon would be to start an audio call. Again, this is going to be ad hoc on the fly. Hey, I need to talk to you real quick. Find your name, click the button, and send you an audio or video call. However, it would be kind of a pain to start an audio call or a video call with some coworkers and need to add 10 to 20 people to that call. This option here is really best for individuals. You can add people to the calls once you have it started, but you would have to manually add them. So if you have an audio or video call or a webinar that needs to be shared with multiple people and you don't want to have to individually add them, you can schedule a Microsoft Teams meeting through Outlook. And this is my recommended way of doing this if you have a large group of people that you need to include on a call. So the way that you do that is you would open up Outlook as you normally would. You go to your calendar, and when you go to your Outlook calendar, provided you have the Teams app installed, there is a Teams meeting button in the ribbon there. So you click on Start a Teams meeting, and a new calendar invite will pop up, and you basically just fill out the rest of the meeting's details. It's already creating a Teams meeting for you. So you add your date, you'd add your time. The benefit of doing this through Outlook is all of those distribution lists that you're used to using work. So you click in the to field, you type the name of your distribution list, you fill out all of your meeting details, you hit send, and it's going to go to that entire distribution list for you. So that's why it's really great to do this through Outlook. If you need to configure more options, for instance, maybe you're hosting a webinar with 75 people included and you don't want everyone to have the ability to turn on and off their microphone, you can configure some additional settings. This part is completely optional. If you want to configure some additional settings, you have to first send out the invite and then come back to this calendar invite and click meeting options. In that meeting options area, you can add presenters and you can set up different lobby settings. So you can allow everybody in, you can have them muted, you can add different presenters so that they can help you share content, mute and unmute. So that's when you would need to do those meeting options. However, if this is an informal meeting, everyone's going to chat, you don't need to worry about configuring those meeting options. All you need to do is just set up the invite and send it out via Outlook. And if we have any questions on this at the end, we'll go over that. There's also a question about doing it through Office 365. I will go over that piece at the end. Another way to schedule meetings is to do it directly through Microsoft Teams interface. So if you have the interface open, again, on the web or the app, does not matter. On the left-hand pane there, you can go into your calendar. And once you go into your you'll see your whole Outlook calendar because it ties to Outlook. You can click New Meeting there, and this is the window that will pop up. You'll do New Meeting, you'll schedule a meeting, and then you have your typical calendar details here. You can give the meeting a subject, you can add your attendees, you can set the date and the time. The only piece about doing it through Teams is those distribution lists don't come through, so you do need to add your attendees name by name by name. Those distribution lists don't come through here. Those are an Outlook only feature. Once you configure all your settings here, you hit save and that calendar invite will go to anyone who you specified. So once you've set up a team invite, what happens then? How do my participants join? Teams makes it really easy. Everyone gets the calendar invite. And when they open up the calendar invite, there is a big link in the middle of the calendar invite that says Join Microsoft Teams Meeting. That's the easiest way for them to join. They click Join Microsoft Teams Meeting, Teams launches. If they have the app will launch. If they have the web interface will launch, the meeting will launch, and you're good to go. they will have to click that Join Now button. You can toggle on and off your webcam, toggle on and off your mic, click Join Now, and then you will be brought into the meeting. The other nice thing about this is you, as the presenter or the initiator of the meeting, can also use this link. So you don't need to try and find some other way to get to this. You also just open up your calendar, you click the link, you toggle your settings, you hit Join Now, and you are brought right to the meeting, and you can see everyone else as they come in. So super easy to join. I imagine that's how all of you joined this call today. And so you can see that it was really easy to get in. Once you're in an audio or video call, and audio video calls are kind of interchangeable because at any point you can turn on and off your mic, you have some different settings. And you can actually look at these settings in this call now. If you hover your mouse over the bottom of where I'm presenting with my screen, you can see the call timer. So you can see that this call has been going on for a little while. You can toggle on and off your camera. Some of you have yours on, some of you have yours off. You can toggle on and off your microphone. You can share content. Number 4 there, you can share content, which is how I'm sharing my screen with you right now. Number 5, you have some additional options that we'll go over. Number 6, there's going to be a chat window. And number 7, you can see the participants. And then number 8 is you can end the call. So you've got all kinds of different options there. As a participant, if you end the call, you're not ending it for everybody, you are just leaving. And kind of same thing as a presenter, if I end the call, anyone who's still left can still chat. It just, the end the call is the way for you guys as individuals to leave the meeting. And then once everyone leaves, the meeting closes down. There are some additional options in the call. So we talked about those 3 dots there, which is number 5. In the 3 dots there, you have some additional pieces. One of them is blur your background, which is kind of a nice feature. It's a little bit hinky, it's not perfect, but it essentially crops your face and keeps your lovely face so people can see your face, and it blurs the background. So if you're in a messy kitchen, or you're kind of just spread out everywhere and you don't want people to see the mess that is your house in the background, you can turn that on and the background will be blurred. You can also start a recording, which I have done with this particular thing. You can start a recording, and that will allow you to record the entire session. That's helpful if you're doing a webinar that people weren't able to attend, so you can post it later. And if you're having any sort of connectivity issues, your internet's slow, you're noticing hiccups, you can turn off incoming video. And turning off the incoming video essentially means you're just getting the audio feedback as an attendee, but that means you're going to get a better experience because all of your bandwidth will focus on getting you good audio, but you're not going to see any video. So there's some plus sides and downsides that I would only recommend doing this if you're having any sort of connectivity issues. So that's a little bit about setting up those meetings. Now, once I'm in a meeting and I need to share content, like I have a PowerPoint that I need to present to 80 folks for a webinar, how do I do that? So sharing content is really easy. To share content directly with a contact, so outside of the context of a video call, this is just, hey, I need to send Angela this content real quick. You can, when you do that search up in the search bar, you can find the person. And the third option there that we did not talk about was, it looks like a little screen with an arrow coming into it. That's how you share content. When you click on that, everything that you have open on your computer is going to show up down below your desktop, your different windows, your different applications. You simply click on what you want to share, and then it will go directly to that person. The nice thing about that is the red border is going to indicate what you are sharing. So you'll see a nice red border around what you are sharing so you know what they're seeing. And then you can give control to somebody. So if somebody's having an issue, trying to find something on their computer, or they don't know where to click, you can actually give control or take control of somebody who's sharing their screen with you so that you can navigate through that screen for them. Once you give control, you can always take it back at any time. So it's not like you're giving up control of your machine and you have no say in the matter anymore. You can always take control back of your machine if you do give control as well. So that's sharing content with individual contacts. You can share your screen, you can share a certain document, but let's say we're in a webinar with a bunch of folks and I want to share a PowerPoint or a desktop screen with you guys. So you guys should all see this in your area too. As attendees, you won't have the option to share, but you can see where the button is. Again, you're going to look for that little screen with the arrow coming into it. That's kind of Teams' universal share. Once you click on that, you're going to see, again, all the different windows you have open. You'll see your two desktops or your single desktop. You'll see any windows you have open, including PowerPoint files, Word files, anything like that. You'll see any recent files that you've worked on. Teams kind of knows maybe you want to share a recent file you've worked on. And then finally, you have the option to share a whiteboard, which is an interactive whiteboard. Everybody in the meeting can take notes on that. If we have time at the end, I'll share a whiteboard with you guys to see what that looks like. So you simply click on what you want to share, you confirm that you want to share it, and then it goes out to everybody. If you have any sort of video or multimedia that you are sharing over Teams, you're going to want to make sure to click that top box, include system audio. That's only applicable if you're doing a video or a song or something like that. Otherwise, Teams will pick up your microphone audio and use that. Your system audio is just for any noise your computer is making, not that your microphone is picking up. All right, so a couple settings that you might want to change in Teams, and this is only for the application, is if you go into the application, you have a little avatar in the top, and you can go into settings. And a couple things that are nice to change is you can change the theme. So personally, I'm big on using dark mode for everything. I find that it helps a little bit with eye fatigue. So I can come in, I can change it from the default light mode to dark mode. So it's a little bit easier on the eyes. I can also change the layout of different teams. And really number 4 there is what I want to highlight here. Number 4, you can decide whether or not Teams auto starts. That means anytime your computer starts up, Teams is automatically going to start for you. And one question came in is, how do I get to the settings? So the settings are in the app only. Once you have the Teams app open, you click on number 1 there, your avatar in the top corner. There'll be a little pop down that shows up. You click on settings, and then it launches this pane here on the right-hand side. So you can change the themes, and then in number 4, you can change whether or not the application automatically starts. You can decide whether or not it starts in the background, meaning it's running, but the app isn't actually open. And then the other checkbox I like there, the third checkbox, on close, keep the application running. I like that option because if I close out Teams and I need to focus, it's still running in the background, meaning if an important message comes in or a call comes in, I can still get that information. I'm not disabling my communication. I'm just not able to see it. There are some additional settings that you can dig into, such as notifications if you're interested. But really, I think the big ones was making sure that the application auto starts when your device starts. And it's good to keep it running even when you close the application so that you still get those calls as they come in and the different chats as they come in. All right, so we've got a couple things I want to show you live. One of the things was how to do Teams in Office 365. So go ahead, as I'm setting that up, feel free to post any other questions in the chat, and I will go live with that here in just a second. Okay, so you should all be seeing my Office 365 screen here. I already went to the district webpage, I went to staff applications, and I went into Office 365. If I want to set up a Teams meeting via Office 365, I'm going to go into my calendar. And you're going to see my super messy calendar from this week. And I'm going to find a time. So let's say here at this time, I want to set up a Teams meeting. I click on it, and I go into More Options. And that opens up my options window here. So I can add my title for my webinar. I can invite any attendees I want. I can set my date, my time. And really the key to getting this to be an online Teams meeting is here in my location. I want to come into Add Online Meeting, and I want to choose Add a Teams Meeting. And then when I send this out, this will have that Teams link for anybody to join. So I'm just going to send this out as a test really quickly to Angela. I'll hit send. And then when I come back to this calendar event, I'm just going to double click on it here. That Teams meeting link is in there, so I can click on that to join the call with her at 12 o'clock. Really quickly, I also want to model those meeting options that we talked about. Once we send a Teams meeting invite via Outlook or Office 365, we do have these meeting options. When I click on that, it opens up a new tab for me, and I can decide who can bypass the lobby. So you can say everyone or just people in your organization. That essentially just means they're brought right into the meeting. They don't have to wait for you to approve them. And then who can present. In this case, I don't want everyone to be able to present. I might want just specific people to present. And then it's going to scan your participant list, and you can pick a specific person to co-present with you. That means that that person can share their screen, they can share materials, they can mute and unmute attendees, but everyone else won't have the ability to present. If you like that, you hit save. If it doesn't matter, you can leave this as everyone, so everyone can share their screen and work collaboratively. You can hit save, and then that is those settings are saved so that anyone who joins with that link has those settings applied to them.
Also, I'd like to mention to you guys that we will be having a webinar especially for hosts, so they learn a little bit more tips and tricks on how to do all these things in more depth. So if you're going to hold large meetings via Teams, you may want to join that webinar as well. It's going to be today at 11 o'clock. So we can share that invite with you guys. We have like best practices for hosts as well. So that'd be something to worth participating in.
Yes, thank you for adding that. One other thing that I wanted to show you guys, just to have a little bit of fun here, is how to share a whiteboard. So if I'm currently sharing my screen with you, but if I come into share, oh, I can't share my screen and do this. I can go into share, and one of the options there is a whiteboard. I'm going to push this out, and you should all now see this whiteboard. And this is an area where we can all work collaboratively. So every one of you can go ahead and grab a pen on the side there. You can contribute to this whiteboard, and this whiteboard will be saved. It's going to be part of our chat history. This whiteboard will be saved, so feel free to take a second and collaboratively make a beautiful work of art. This is chaos with like 80 people trying to collaborate, but it looks good. I like it. And then, sorry to ruin your fun, when I'm done sharing the whiteboard, I can come in here and I can stop sharing. Oh, and it looks like it already stopped sharing. So I can stop sharing that whiteboard. And again, that whiteboard history is going to be saved. It's going to be part of our chat. We can go back and revisit that magic anytime we want. But I'm going to bring us back to my presentation here. So we are going to be having some more webinars for you guys on Teams. This really just covers the chat and communication functionality of Teams. Teams does have a lot more collaborative features in it as far as file sharing and working together efficiently. So stay tuned for more webinars on that. Probably not next week, but the week after we'll start offering webinars on that. And then kind of as we wrap up here, feel free to post any questions in the chat. Additionally, I'm going to share a couple documents with you in the chat. One of the documents is going to be an online webinar etiquette document. That might be helpful for principals or admin. You can share with your staff. It basically just establishes if you're presenting, what's good etiquette, if you're attending, what's good etiquette, and it's a really helpful breakdown. So I'm going to post that in the chat for you guys. It's a PDF. Feel free to use that and distribute that. We worked with CIP to get this published, so you have access to that. Additionally, if Mike Rich wouldn't mind reposting the attendance link, we posted it at the beginning, but we're going to repost the attendance link at the end. If you can just take a second and make sure to fill that out, that is how I'm going to send you the follow-up email with all of these resources.
There is a question about how we can have a video call where we see all participants live. Can you show us how we can start a video conversation with individuals?
Yes, so let me share a different screen with you guys. Okay, so on my screen here, so I want to start a video call with participants, correct?
Yes.
So I can do that a couple different ways. One of the ways is I can come into, if I just have an individual that I want, I can come into my chat history, that if I already have a chat history with that individual, or I can come into my calls, or I can go into that banner up at the top. If I could see that here, and I can find the individual I might want to start a video chat with. So let's look for Angela. If I could type, that would be great. 80 people watching me, no pressure. Once I find Angela here, I can click on the little video icon to start a video call with her. If I want to add additional people, so
she lost her connection because she's starting a video call with me. Let me go ahead and hang up so she can come back to this call. So in essence, the way that you would decide if your video is on or off is how you accept the call. So when you're being called by somebody else through Teams, you can accept a video call or an audio call only. So in essence, a video call or an audio call are the same. The only difference is, do you want your camera on or off? So you can switch between an audio or a video call at any point during a call.
Thank you for taking over, Angela. I got disconnected once I tried to call you.
We're still playing with this ourselves, so we kind of get caught in some of these things that we don't fully know. So we apologize, but thank you for understanding at the same time. And really, if you want to become more familiar with Teams, just ask a buddy or a coworker to kind of make calls to each other so you can learn and understand all the different features before probably hosting a big meeting with a group of people. So this is a great way for you to practice and be more comfortable with the interface.
And it looks like another suggestion came in that once we start adding additional webinars, we identify, Teams 1, Teams Level 2, Teams Level 3. We will absolutely do that. So when you start hearing more information about the webinars, we will definitely signal what's Level 1, what's Level 2, what Level 3 is, and what we're going to go over in those different webinars. So stay tuned for more information on that.
One of the issues or limitations with Teams is you're only going to see 4 video feeds at a time. It's not like Zoom where you can see everybody at once. This is actually a benefit. It doesn't take as much bandwidth and it doesn't get as glitchy. So even though what you'll see are the 4 people that have spoken the most recently will kind of auto-populate on those video calls.
If I actually learned this the other day, if you want to keep a specific tile at all times in your screen, just right-click on that tile and you will be able to pin it. So regardless of their participation, it will be displayed as one of the 4 in your screen. So you can pick and choose who stays static and don't have to cycle through all the different tiles, but it's like up to personal preference, I guess, how you set it up.
Somebody asked me on a private chat if they could watch this again. We are going to have a video recording of this as well as another session. I think, ladies, is it at 2 o'clock today that we're offering at this same webinar?
Yep, and then 9 o'clock on Monday and 2 o'clock on Monday. So we've got a bunch of these scheduled.
And then we'll have at least one of these a day throughout all next week.
Yes.
If you go to the PD catalog, you just search the word webinar, you'll see all the webinars that we have planned. We're adding new ones every day, and you'll see the new Skype Teams, and if that's this webinar, and you can schedule it as many times as you'd like.
We will also be posting the recording, so you can also rewatch the recording if you just can't get enough of Angela and I. So the recorded version, we're going to upload them to a YouTube channel. I believe, and maybe Mike Rich can confirm this, we're going to be posting that on the Distance Learning Resources staff page somewhere. We just haven't officially decided where yet, but I'm sure we'll announce that.
Yeah, there's a website that'll go live soon, and it will include a link to our Instructional Tech YouTube channel, and we will post all the recordings of webinars there.
Great, thank you. We'll continue to monitor for any questions that come in and stay tuned for more information. And please make sure you did fill out that link in the chat, and then check out the online webinar etiquette document also linked in the chat.
We only had 56 people respond to the survey that they attended. The reason that we'd like you to make sure you fill that out is so that we can give you credit in the PD catalog so that you can see the trainings that you've attended. You have kind of a transcript of that. So it really just is benefiting you more than us at this point. So please feel free to fill that out.
Also, with 86 people, this is our largest webinar to date. So thank you all for participating. We're glad that these are getting popular and getting out there.
Yeah, another good thing for us is this is the most people we've had online at once, so it didn't really wig out for most of us. It seemed to handle the load well. We were worried about more than 50.
The question came in, if you already registered for this webinar through the PD catalog, we still do need you to fill out that link so that we have essentially, the link is like our sign-in sheet. We still need to compare the sign-in sheet to the PD catalog to mark attendance. So please do make sure to fill out that link.
And another thing to clarify as far as the Microsoft Teams capability, you can hold a video audio call with up to 250 people. So that's the limit for this particular type of call. There is another option, which is a live event that can hold up to 10,000. So if you have something larger than 250, reach out to us so we can show you the different options we have.
Admin that are on this call as well, when your teachers take a webinar, we're going to use the same form. We're going to populate the PD catalog. It might take us a few days to catch up to make it all happen, but this will be a way for them to track on their transcript what webinars they participated in as well, just to kind of help them see the training they've done.
This webinar is available to classified staff. We made it open to everybody.
And as a side note, just to get through all this, we've made all of our webinars open to everybody. That way, even if there's a para and they want to learn something about a specific content area, we're opening them up to everybody just so that we can make sure everyone has access.
All right, looks like the questions are dying down. I'll hang out in the call just in case any last minute ones come in. Thank you all for attending, and we appreciate it. One question came in, and I think, Mike, you can answer this. The webinar on webinars is not in the PD catalog. We're sending that out to specific people. So, Mike, if you could send that to Kristen Noonan, that'd be great.
I will do. Yeah, that one was more for kind of our mentor teachers as we prepare it for next week, but I will include you on that. Rachel, the call about recommending how teachers want to conference with students. We're going to use Schoology Conferences, and the kids don't have Teams on their machine. One of the rationales for this is the safety of the student. So within conferences, the video isn't shared across all students. So you see the teacher, and then the teacher can mute all the cameras so that it's within a contained system. That way we don't have a camera in the home of a student that might catch something untoward that we wouldn't want other kids to see, as well as within Schoology, only the kids in the class can join that conference so that there's not random people joining in that were not invited. We will have three already planned webinars on Schoology Conferences. That's going to be hosted by Greg Havens. And if you check the catalog, you can sign up for those.
I have a question coming in through a personal or a private chat. How do we access the chat for this meeting? So I can share my screen with you so you can see where you can access all your chats within Teams. Really quick here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hold on. So when you're in a video or audio call, the great thing about Teams is that you can go into any of these items without leaving the call. So if you click on chat, you will see which group chats are holding an actual video call by this little icon. So here I have the Microsoft Teams webinar, and if I click here, I will have the actual chat for this particular meeting. It will not go away unless I remove it from this list, but this is all the conversations that I've had. Whether it's been a webinar, a private conversation, a group conversation, you can go ahead and look at that in this chat area. So that's a pretty nice thing that Microsoft Teams has.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending. Again, we'll hang out for any other questions that come in, but we appreciate you spending 40 minutes of your Friday with us. And stay tuned for more information about webinars, and stay tuned for a follow-up email with a link to this presentation, as well as the chat etiquette I shared in the chat.